I don't run for my life. Oh, these people won't kill me. They say, na me be Abobaku. I no do again. Make una come help me, oh.
Abobaku, born to die with the king. In the days when the earth still trembled at the footsteps of kings, and the talking drums were the thumb of power, there lived the title feared even more than the curse of an elder or the edge of a warrior's blade. That name was Abobaku. To hear it was to feel your soul shrink, to bear it was to know your breath was borrowed. The Abobaku was the king's shadow, not only in life, but also in the deep silence of death. His fate was bound to the royal heartbeat. When the drum of the Alefin ceased, his own heart was counted among the debts to be paid. In the ancient Oyo Empire, the elders would say, the Alefin is not king by sunrise alone, his crown rules in the midnight of the grave. And so it was law, older than the memory of the oldest griot, that when the king dies, a messenger must follow, chosen from among the living to be buried beside him. This messenger, called Abobaku, would continue his service in the world where the sun never sets, carrying the broom and the staff, pouring the wine and keeping the fires for his master's eternal court. The story I tell now happened in the season when the iron gong sounded no more, when the wind carried a strange stillness over the palace roofs, and the Alafins as close to this world. The whole town shivered in mourning, the palace gates shut like the jaws of a crocodile, and a shadow spread over the market. In the crowded marketplace of Oyo, where women sold yam flour, smoked fish, and kola nut, tongues wagged. The market women covered their heads with wrappers and spoke in low tones. The king is gone, soon the ground will swallow another. Old men leaning on their canes nodded and said, when the Iroko falls, smaller trees must follow. It was the way of the land. Whenever the king died, the spirits demanded his servant in death. And for 7 days, mothers would warn their children not to stray, for the palace guards roamed like leopards seeking prey. But fate, with its crooked staff, plays no fair game. In a humble hut on the edge of the village, a poor widow and her only son had not yet heard the news. That morning, the boy stepped into the streets to run an errand. He was young, strong, with the quiet pride of one who had only his mother in the world. The guards saw him. Before he could blink, they seized him as a fisherman pulls a struggling tilapia from the water. His cries filled the air, but no ear turned in mercy. They dragged him through the palace gates, across the red-earth courtyard, into the sacred inner chamber. There, before him, lay the body of the late Alefin, on a bamboo bed, wrapped in spotless white cloth, coral beads still at his neck. The scent of incense and burning shea would fill the air. The boy's wrists and ankles were bound with rope, and he was made to sit on the cool swept floor. His mind wandered to his mother, who would still be waiting, wondering why her son's shadow did not return with the sunset. The day of burial came with a heaviness that pressed on the chest of the whole kingdom. The drums beat slow and deep, like a heart in its final moments. The chosen Abobaku was washed, oiled, and dressed in the sacred cloth of sacrifice. His face was streaked with tears, but the elders' eyes were stone. At the sacred burial ground of kings, the earth had been opened wide, a grave so deep the walls seemed to drink the sunlight. They lowered the boy into the pit first, making him kneel in the damp soil. Then the king's body was brought forward, laid above him with care. An elder, his beard as white as moonlit cotton, stepped forward with ritual items, a calabash of cowries and beads, a pot of steaming cooked yam and palm oil, a folded bundle of fine cloth. He spoke the ancient words. Food for the king's journey, cowries for the crossing of the river of spirits, beads and cloth for comfort in the halls of the ancestors. The boy's breath came fast. He looked at the sky for the last time, but the shovel's red earth soon began to fall, each thought sealing him deeper in shadow. The chants rose, the grave swallowed king and servant alike, and the crowd murmured. When the snail enters the calabash, it does not return to the forest. But hear me well, what happened next would make this day seem like a candle beside a burning forest. To be continued.